And just send him a shit emoji every day till he gets it.
You can make him eat shit. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We're live. It's Friday. We have so many things going on. I cannot believe how many things are actually going on.
The Nuggets have already beaten the Clippers tonight. And by the way, remember when we used to do it on the radio? So you used to say live at 5-ish.
Yeah.
I kind of missed the timestamp that you used to
put I'll go. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We're live at 7-ish.
I like that you did a second take. Can I cut you off? So can you do it one more time?
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We're live at 7-ish.
Yeah.
Sports program.
8 my time.
8 your time. We need to start saying that. 7, 8.
Yeah, 7 Pacific Standard Time, 8 Mountain Time.
Oh, man. At Derek on TSPN on the Twitter, at Quack Swan, at HomeRunJack1987. You can find us everywhere, timespentpoorly.com, and then we're on like 3 Facebook pages, and we're on Periscope, we're on YouTube, and we're on 3 different Twitch channels right now.
We're everywhere.
3.
We're everywhere.
And you could find the show later because Ward's a real nice guy.
We're everywhere. And
yeah,
nowhere.
He literally takes care of us.
He takes care of us.
He's daddy.
I'm glad I hadn't shared that yet. Shared the.
Thanks, daddy. Oh, well. Hey, NBA. The Clippers lost. Was that game 7? No,
it was game 5.
Not even close, yeah.
So it's 3-2 now.
The Clippers will win it. Still,
I want the Nuggets.
Yeah, well, I wasn't concerned going into the game. I thought it makes sense. The Nuggets are a good young team. They're a good young team. They have 2 All-Stars already. Porter is definitely going to be that 3rd All-Star on that team. They are like one of the future teams of the NBA. And it's a Kawhi Leonard Clippers team, which means they have to play a 7-game series. It's almost like a must. Kawhi wins ugly, but he wins. He's the best player in the world. They're not losing the series.
Best player in the world, huh?
By a lot. Not even by a little. I was thinking about this the other day. Other Sean, my buddy, Sean Marsh. Brought it up to me. Yeah, Sean spelt normal, as I like to call him.
W?
No, S-E-A-N.
Oh, scene. Okay.
Yeah, that was it. That was like the first way I'd ever seen it spelled. So that's like regular spelling to me. But he brought it up to me the other day. He just sent me a message, and I was like, "Oh, that's a topic." He said,
"What's your hot take?"
He said, "Do you consider Giannis a top 5 player in the world, even though he, couldn't get out of the second round of the playoffs?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, you can still be a top 5 player." And did we lose Derek? Is he dumping?
I think he would warn us if he was dumped. He wasn't. Did his thing do that thing where his camera was frozen?
I don't know. And we lost all of our viewers, so
I guess we'll wait. Does it say we're still live?
Yeah, the seconds are ticking, but we lost all of our viewers.
Well,
I don't know the science behind that. If you go onto Facebook,
I don't know the logistics.
Yeah, I mean, we can. So when me and Derek used to have technical difficulties, what we would do is we would start from the very beginning, like people had not been listening that whole time.
That's the best way. Yeah, we're still live.
And all of our takes that we would do were like so deflated because we had just got done saying them with all this energy. So the second time, it was just pure dog shit every time.
Did you see he messaged his internet died?
We lost him. Well, he's back now, baby. I think we can add him to the group, or he can add himself.
Hi. Hey.
Hello.
Did I miss a bunch? You know what it's
Yeah,
nice about?
so everyone left.
You know what's nice about doing StreamYard, though, is that this did not go away. You guys were able to keep going.
No, so I shared a little anecdote about how in the past when we had technical difficulties, we would just start the show from the very beginning, and all of our takes were super deflated because we had already said them all before.
But now you're able to keep going.
And we would always, well, okay, but I didn't. I waited for you because I wanted you in the group, bud. But so, yeah, Sean asked me if I thought Giannis was still a top 5 player in the world because, I mean, now he's going to be a back-to-back MVP. Even though he couldn't make it out of the second round of the playoffs. And I said, well, I mean, Steve Nash won 2 MVPs and rarely made it out of the first round of the playoffs. I thought about a lot of situations where, like, James Harden's a top 5 player. No one argues that, and he's never been to a championship. Well, I mean, I guess he did with Oklahoma City, but I don't think that's a great argument. But then then he went on to say, well, if LeBron ever didn't make it out of the second round of the playoffs, he would have been under so much more scrutiny than anybody else who's in this situation. Yeah. Like no one ever trashed Steve Nash for not making it out of the first round of the playoffs. But if LeBron somehow doesn't make it to a championship, something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah. And I think
that's a fair point. It's a good point. Also, we're talking about the head coach of my new favorite number 2 team, the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, we haven't done a show since then either. But we'll transition to that after we get done with this one, because the topic brought us to a new topic. Realistically, when we were talking about it, it was originally like, do you think Giannis is top 5? I can't name 5 people better than him.
Right.
But LeBron has always been, as a top 5 player, expected to be so elite that he can carry a team by himself to a championship. But we don't hold a single other player to that standard.
No.
But then it also got me thinking, you can win 2 MVPs and not be a top 5 player. I would argue that Steve Nash was never a top 5 player in the league.
I won't agree with it.
I know you won't agree with it, but I'm saying offensively and defensively, all around player, I don't think you have to be top 5 to be MVP. It's such a subjective award these days.
Yeah. Disagree, because Steve Nash is my baby boy. But I get your point. I do think he's a top 5 offensive player. At least in the era that he played in.
In that era, okay. Well, and he did so much for people around him, which I think does make you a really good basketball player, right? Like,
did Allen Iverson, who is my other favorite basketball player of all time, did he ever get an MVP?
He had to have had at least one. And I feel bad for not knowing, because Allen Iverson's in my top 5 all time. But,
I was going to say, I would put Allen Iverson in my top 5 best players. Practice.
Like favorite players or best players? I think he's an all-time point guard for sure. Yeah. I don't actually know if he ever won an MVP. Oh, yep, MVP award in 2001 and 2005. No, that's All-Star MVP. Most valuable player in the NBA, 2001. Yep, okay. So he did win it once. I almost feel like I'm not saying they gave him a pity one, because he probably absolutely deserved it in 2001. I think that was the year they played the Lakers in the finals and just got destroyed. But
maybe he's in my top 5 favorite players. Maybe
but
not.
Allen Iverson was so good that he was able to get the 76ers to the finals, being the only star on that team.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard, who doesn't even play offense, got the Orlando Magic all the way to a finals without playing any. Like, the dude can only dunk the ball. Now, he had a lot of points per game that year because centers could still bully people back then.
And in that series, he actually had a buzzer winner from like the 3-point if I remember correctly. That's when I decided I liked Dwight Howard, and then he came to LA, and then
time,
and then I didn't like him.
I also liked Dwight Howard though Dwight Howard in the Olympics, the Redeem Team.
The Redeem Team
is the Redeem Team.
But what I got
the
Redeem Team, he was. So
yeah.
And that goes back to what I was saying about Kawhi Leonard, though. It all came back full circle. I'm not worried about the Clippers losing another game to the Nuggets because in the NBA right now, and probably for the last couple of years, it's Kawhi, LeBron, and then everybody else.
Yeah. I think you have that flipped.
But fine. They're in that top two by themselves. Either way, people are having the debate enough to where it's a top two and then everybody else. And
why doesn't Kawhi get scrutinized as much as LeBron?
Because I think LeBron's. Derek, do you got a take on that?
He's quieter.
Yeah,
he doesn't make a lot of noise.
He's awkward as fuck.
Yeah, but he doesn't make a lot of noise. I mean, so he's not in. First off, he's never been in the limelight. Like everyone knows he's like the star, but he's never like been the star. Like it's not like when he wasn't playing and he was on the Spurs. Like Zach was talking to me about Kawhi Leonard not playing on the Spurs. It's not like you would hear stuff about him like sport. Like I listen to sports radio all day. I mean, not so much now with my new job. I listen to it all day. And I remember them talking about Kawhi Leonard, but it'd be like, yeah, he's not playing. We don't know if he's actually hurt, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not on this team next year. He kind of wants to leave. And then it'd be like, well, LeBron, and then LeBron. So, more of a conversation.
So it's a
popularity contest, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think LeBron, and I wouldn't say he created it for himself, because I don't think that people like LeBron or Zion necessarily say, I want the spotlight, but they're just so polarizing that they get it. So I think LeBron, that's just kind of what he's so elite for so long and just so gifted. And he did it at such a young age and grabbed everyone's attention that he's basically forced more scrutiny on himself. Kawhi won a Finals MVP at 22, being the fourth option on that Spurs team. There was the big three. It was Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Monty Ginobili. Kawhi as the fourth scorer, came into that series 22, went to college for actually a couple of years, so not like LeBron straight out of high school. And then his first year in the Spurs, we didn't start him. We make all rookies, no matter what, earn their spot, no matter how gifted they are. It's just always been the Popovich way. And then all of a sudden in this next year, he just erupts and shuts LeBron down. That's what they say. LeBron still had a fuck ton of points in that series, but they quote unquote shut LeBron down when it mattered.
The Heat Spurs, right?
Yep.
Is that
series two? And he played him really, really well. And so he won MVP basically being a LeBron stopper, but he wasn't the best guy on the team. So he's not going to walk away from that season being all eyes on me. Not that you can get all eyes on you in San Antonio, but I'm sure at one point in time, people said that about Cleveland, right? You can't be the best player in the NBA and be in Cleveland, but LeBron somehow created that.
Yeah.
And LeBron's also created such an aura around him that we're talking about him potentially still being the best player in the world 16 seasons deep. And we don't even know if that's true. It just seems like he should be in the conversation.
I don't know, man. You watch him play and you watch him, and it's great. When every time he drives into the paint and goes up, it's great.
Rondo had an assist off the glass, such a Rondo move, easy layup, could have easily just went for the layup. He sees LeBron behind him at the end of the game yesterday, and he bounces it off the backboard on purpose so LeBron can just get a classic sky in alley-oop dunk. Off the backboard, and he throws it in not a good spot for LeBron to go get it. And LeBron's still so athletic that he just jumps up, reaches above the backboard, grabs his ball and puts it in. And he looks like the same LeBron still.
Yeah.
So he's been so good for so long. He's created it for himself.
Just older and beardier.
Exactly. He's got some gray in that beard now.
Got some gray in that beard.
It's going down, right? Just going.
Yeah, it's moving from his head to his beard.
But I'm not worried about the Clippers. This series, I would say that the Lakers once again are going to be the more rested team going into the next round, and they seem to.
Yeah.
They seem to not play well off of that. They seem to like to lose game ones after being well rested.
Yeah. And I thought about that the other day. I thought when they did lose that game one to the Rockets, I was like, well, because they did the same thing into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not sluggish by any means. They're just like, or maybe they like to do the Bill Belichick thing where they like to let the other team think.
They like to give you a 28-3 lead and then start playing.
Okay, I wasn't referring to that situation, but
I know it's been a hot topic lately. I don't know why, but it's really circulated back into my life this last 2 weeks.
Well, it's because football's back, baby.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I was on a Zoom call with someone from work, and you could see my Falcons pennant in the background. And before we can even start having a work-related conversation, he goes, "Oh, you're a Falcons fan? How many times has someone said 28-3 to you?" I'm like, "Well, it's been a really long time since someone has."
Since last season.
I actually thought we were over it. And it turns out we're never going to be over it. So
yeah, I mean, that one's never going to go away.
Yeah, I just feel like somehow 40 years from now, someone's going to go Falcons fan. 28-3.
You know what?
And they're going to be 20, they weren't even alive then. But they're going to know that.
You need Matt Ryan to go to a Super Bowl and win one, and then it'll shut people up.
Well,
absolutely. It'd be the only way for it not to get brought up.
But it has to be with that same coach, Dan Quinn, right?
We still got him. I'm skeptical about him getting us there.
Do you think it was his fault, or do you think it was
I know why. I know how it would silence it, though. I mean, it would silence it because Peyton Manning went to the Super Bowl with the Broncos against the Seahawks, and they were dismantled. But as soon as he went and played terribly against a better Panthers team,
right?
Nobody remembers the Seahawks Super Bowl.
It's similar to the 3-1
so badly,
right? Similar to the 3-1 Golden State Warriors series where the Cavs came back. Yeah. Then they got Kevin Durant. They went out and won, and then those 3-1, memes and gifs and all that stuff kind of went away pretty fast. If there was ever a year to do it, despite how stacked, despite how stacked the NFC South is this year, because I don't believe that it is. Are we just
talking about football now?
Oh, you like how I just smoothly transitioned?
Yeah, man, it was like jazz.
Okay, well, let's.
Cheers. Okay.
Okay, so I agree. Okay, so first off, I think the Panthers are going to be a dumpster fire. I think Christian McCaffrey is the best player on that team still. That said, I still think the Panthers are going to have a better record than the Buccaneers.
That's a hot take. There's two teams in that division that everyone seems like all week long. Everyone's been doing their Super Bowl picks.
Yeah.
And there's only 3 teams I've heard all week from the NFC. Okay. It's been weirdly Dallas, the Saints, and the Bucks, and nobody else. Every single sports talk or morning show, it's one of those 3 teams, and then either the Ravens or the Chiefs, and nobody else from the AFC. And personally, out of all the teams I just said, I think one of those teams is going to be absolute trash this year, but I'm saving it. We'll get back to it.
Are we doing? By the way, sorry, you're doing first to worst, and you're doing worst to first. Are we also doing our Super Bowl pick? We need to do that before this. I mean, yeah, game 1 was yesterday, but we probably need to do our Super Bowl picks. Are too early.
So I think we do it while we're doing the pick'em. Like when we get to the game where we think that team in whatever division or conference is going to make it, we casually say, "By the way, my Super Bowl pick." And we'll get to it. Sean, are you gonna do the pick'em read off with us? I mean, you always have.
I always have, yeah, and I'm ready.
Okay, good. Well, because you're with us now. This will be the same way it's always been.
Nothing's going to have changed from any years previous.
So you're talking about pick'ems, our pick'ems for the week?
Yeah, how we go through every single game that we've always done, all three of us.
Well, I'm already looking pretty good. I'll just say that.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
if you're not 1-0 right now, what were you thinking with last night's game?
Should
we talk about last night's game?
We should talk about last night's game.
I think that's a pretty solid transition into last night's game.
I think we should talk about how I think it's insane to be one of the few fans that actually got to go watch that game, and you finally got into the game, and you finally got to go see it, and football's back, and you still booed the opening stuff. Like, you still booed it. You're still enough of a piece of shit to boo it.
Yeah. Wow. And it wasn't even that big of. It wasn't like they kneeled.
There was one guy.
Well, and it wasn't even during the national anthem because they came out afterwards.
Right.
It was just during the time period where they locked arms.
No, there was one guy who kneeled during the anthem. There was.
Like he came out just to kneel for it?
Well, because Kansas City was out there.
Oh, I thought both teams stayed in the locker room.
Kansas City was out there.
Texans didn't?
The Texans stayed in the locker room.
Oh, gotcha. I missed
one guy. Several people linked arms. One guy in between the links kneeled, and then a bunch of people were saluting the.
So imagine that. Imagine that you get a ticket. You're one of the few fans that gets to go watch these games right now. You finally get in. You got your mask on. You boo it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't understand it. I don't understand why you boo it. When both teams come out and link arms and just
because that's when they were booing, right? Like they were booing during the arm linking.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Like there's no. If you even say like the word unity, apparently it's like.
Well, it's because, and I love football, but I know for a fact that a lot of football fans are just ignorant pieces of shits.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad and it's true, but like it's not like they were out there being there. It wasn't a bad thing what they were doing. I don't understand. Yeah, like I don't understand it.
No, they were literally just like locking arms in unity. But
yeah.
Anyway, we can move past that. I just
yeah, but all I was gonna say is what's interesting about the people that booed is they're the same people who say, "Well, I won't be coming back here again," and then they're gonna buy more tickets.
Yeah, season tickets. Probably.
Those guys are the season ticket holders for that random row. Yeah,
and they know it's coming. They know it's coming. They know what's gonna happen.
But the game itself. So we are all fantasy players now, and. I decided to double down on Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a couple of leagues. So it was a great game for me. And in the league that I don't have, I might have David Johnson. So it was an exceptionally great game for me. But an Andy Reid team that's actually running the football is just a bizarre concept. Like Pat Mahomes only actually had, I think, 224 passing yards last night because it was so balanced. He still threw 3 touchdowns, but it was so balanced that they actually like led the game in time of possession, which is not a Kansas City Andy Reid thing to do. Right. They dominated every facet of the ball because their defense had a chance to rest because they were running the ball on offense.
I heard somebody say at work today, I heard them say, wow, Kansas City is as good as they were last year. And I said, no, they are not. This is a better team than they were last year, and that is frightening.
It was terrifying.
They are a better team than they were last year, exactly for what Zach just said. Time of possession. They ran the ball. They could run the ball. They kept the ball.
Right.
And they don't do that. This is a come back and win team.
And they got everyone back. Like their fourth option at wide receiver last year. Well, Hardman was probably their fifth. Their fourth option at wide receiver last year was Sammy Watkins, and they got him to sign a small contract and come back. And last night he looked amazing.
Yeah.
I think it was like 21 PPR fantasy points. And not only that, but he was the red zone target multiple times. And they interviewed Pat Mahomes after the game, and he said, well, they were all over Tyreek Hill, who still managed to have a good game. They were all over Tyreek Hill, and now they have so many options. They just picked the next guy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was not drafted to be an up-the-middle, pure running game like style player. He was drafted to be like a receiver out of the backfield. He led the SEC in receptions out of the backfield last year in college. And so I'm sure they saw how him and Joe Burrow were, and they thought, if Joe Burrow can get him the ball like this, I think he had like 60 receptions last year in the SEC, which is awesome for a running back. I thought that was what was going to happen last year, which is why I drafted him in my PPR leagues instead of my standard leagues, because I thought he'd get a lot of catches. I don't think he had any. I don't remember him having any.
I know. I mean, every time I thought it was him, it was Williams.
It was just like almost 25 carries up the middle of the field, which also funny. I did a live draft, and everyone assumes that Damian Williams is still the running back for Kansas City. He sat the year out because of COVID. So in a live draft, you don't have the ESPN app to tell you, no, it's Darrell Williams that's still on the team. Damian Williams is sitting the year out. So people were live drafting Damian Williams, and we had to like correct them. Like, no, it's Darrell that didn't. And man, not the same quality of backup running back.
Yeah, the one that's I don't know.
Well,
so Damian Williams potentially would have been the starter. He looked amazing in the Super Bowl.
We don't need to talk about it. But yeah.
When they lost, you remember when they had Kareem Hunt?
Yes.
When they had Kareem Hunt, they were a better team than what they were last year when they won the Super Bowl. And they didn't go, though. The Patriots won that year. Now that they have a good running back, it's hard for me to say they're not going to be my Super Bowl pick for the AFC.
Well, I would disagree that they're not a better team last year because they had a much better defensive coordinator last year. So, and obviously now he's back with them for the second year in a row, and their defense also looked much improved yesterday. So I would say they're a better team. Not only that, but yes, no Kareem Hunt, but another year for Pat Mahomes. So I would say like overall the offense probably is better, but the Kareem Hunt was a huge loss for them. They were just scrambling to find someone to fill in that spot all of last year, it seemed like, until the Super Bowl. And then it's weird that besides for David Johnson, looked like there was nothing on the Texans offense.
But David Johnson looked good.
Yeah, and I don't know if it'll hold up. I actually have some questions for you guys about that here in a second. I don't know if that'll hold up, but I like the way he started the year. I didn't see why you would trade DeAndre Hopkins for any sort of trade package that included David Johnson and other people. Because I don't feel like there was any sort of like equal trade there. But
yeah, I don't know.
By the way,
there was friction in the locker room, right?
Yeah. Well, and apparently, their coach is also their GM for the Texans, and he said we couldn't have afforded to pay him, and we tried to trade him to a bunch of teams, and if they didn't have a quarterback on a rookie deal, that they didn't want him either because they couldn't afford him. And to me, it kind of all sounded like excuses, but it also made sense. And this was before they paid Watson. So you knew that was coming. Like Watson was going to get this massive extension. So they were clearly saving the money for him. But it just seems like there's other teams like Kansas City, for example, who found a way to pay both. Or the Cowboys have paid like 6 of their stars now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We can move on past that game, but it was just so nice to have football back. I know that there was a little bit of drama, and it wasn't even a good game. Like, let's be real. It was never close. Well, after the 7-7 start, it was never close again from that time period. But it was just awesome to have football back.
It was, yeah.
On a night where I think they brought it up today, but there was 9 different professional sports, like different leagues of professional sports playing in one day. I would have had a question for Sean, but since we lost him, I think me and you can equally chime in on this.
I don't know if we lost him. I can still hear his
audio.
audio.
Oh, there he is. But like, how do you decide? And I know that you had 2 screens going yesterday, Sean, for the basketball game and the football game.
Mm-hmm.
But like, the Lakers are only going to move further in the playoffs, potentially to the finals.
Yeah.
I know you're a huge football guy. I know you're a super huge fantasy football guy. When the Lakers get to the finals, where's your focus going to be? Like, how does anyone decide, not just you in that specific scenario, but how does anyone decide when there's playoff basketball, playoff hockey, football Thursday through Monday at this point? Because college football's back too. And then there's like the hockey buffs, the UFC buffs, and all the other people. Like, I just don't know how you decide what to watch.
I don't either. No, it's crazy because we went months with no sports, and now it's oversaturated. It's like everyone's got a podcast now.
Everyone's got a podcast now, and I feel bad for everyone's wives and girlfriends.
But no one does it as good as we do.
That's true.
No one's this thick, baby.
No.
No, I feel for all the wives and girlfriends out there, and just significant others of anyone who watches sports.
And that's not. I didn't mean that in like a sexist derogatory way. Like, because I play in fantasy football. That's like the. By the way, that makes it sound like I have a black friend. But I was about to say I play in fantasy football leagues with girls. So.
Well, one of our supporters. One of our biggest supporters is Kayla.
I don't mean it that way, but I just know from us in this particular group, all 3 of us are not with someone who probably appreciates how much time we spend watching sport.
No,
not a little bit.
Not a fan.
So now we're doing it all day, and we're doing it more days.
And we do a podcast about it.
And then we do a podcast about it when they're not on. Which, by the way, the Celtics game is on. I have not checked on it once. That is a game 7. But I also can say this.
Celtics are up by 7.
I don't give a shit about that game because 1, I don't care who wins. 2, I know who's going to win. And I don't think the Eastern Conference matters at all this year. I think that either the Clippers or the Lakers, or even if the Nuggets somehow came back and won, or the Rockets, would dismantle any of those teams from the East.
Yeah.
If the Heat make the finals, they will get swept. If the Raptors make the finals, they will get swept. The Celtics will win a game or 2.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think the Heat are going to make the finals.
I think you're right. I think
the Heat are going to make the finals, and they are going to get swept against literally any of those teams in the West.
But yeah, so the playoffs really like crescendo right in that Clippers-Lakers series that we all know is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the climax, baby. It's all downhill from there. But now that I think about it, what if that series is just so massive, just so huge? What if it's just so huge that it's just an adrenaline dump for whoever wins it? Like, what if the Heat just swoop in and just beat them up afterwards? That would be a very Jimmy Butler thing to do.
That's the thing about basketball, though. It's not hockey, man. You don't bring the momentum in like you do in hockey.
Agreed. And people can say like basketball is probably the most predictable of the major sports, but there was a year where the Dallas Mavericks beat the Miami Heat.
True.
With an old Vince Carter, an old Jason Kidd, a middle career Dirk Nowitzki. Like,
was that the year they swept the Lakers?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even a Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki Mavericks, which was a better team.
Well, maybe it wasn't because they didn't win a championship.
True. And that's why Steve Nash is never
That was
been
good.
Steve Nash may have never been a top 10 player, but he won 2 MVPs, and that's 2 more than any of us will ever win.
I won a couple MVPs, baby.
You're the MVP of my heart.
So to answer your
top
question,
10 player.
how do you choose what to pick?
Yeah, we can circle back to it. Let's circle back.
You live near a Buffalo Wild Wings, which I don't.
But regardless, and back to the 2 screens thing.
Yeah.
A human can really only focus on one thing at a time. Which one has the audio on, Sean?
I had them both on. One's lower than the other, but they're still on.
Can I
dodging the question. Which one was louder, motherfucker? That's the question.
Football?
I feel like I can answer the question, if I may.
Yeah.
Depends on the teams.
Yeah.
If it's Steeler football, all my attention's going to that. If it's a lot of other teams in the NFL, my attention's going to that. Last night, I wanted to watch the Chiefs.
But that's why this is an interesting question for Sean, because last night it is the Chiefs and the Texans, 2 teams he should not give a shit about.
Well, I had
which volume was louder?
They were even.
A minute ago you said one was louder than the other.
They're even.
Are you running for some sort of office? Because you're dodging this question hard.
Yeah, I'm actually running for president.
Might as well. But
I'll answer the question fairly. The answer is the volume on whichever one my wife is watching is on louder. So whatever show she's watching, and then my phone was on football.
So that's very nice of you.
I thought he was just kissing ass. I thought maybe she was like in the corner of the room or something. He meant it.
Staring at him.
He meant it.
That was a real thing that happened. Yeah.
Holding his cat hostage. What did you say?
Football was louder. I mean, football will take precedence over every sport.
Okay.
As long as I have one fantasy player on, I'll probably watch it over everything. Probably even the Lakers.
If the Blazers were in round 2, I probably wouldn't have cared about last night's game.
If this is all I'm saying, if the Spurs were in the playoffs, which they're not, first time in 23 years. So I've never experienced this before. But I would say, and I probably won't experience it again, but for the one time that I can reflect. I'm using this time to be humbled, to reflect, to seek my inner truth. And if I'm speaking my truth,
the true.
If the Spurs were playing last night, I would have only had one TV on.
And it would have been football.
It would have been on the Spurs. If the Spurs would have been playing last night, the series was 3-0 and we were up 26 points in the game, it still would have been on the Spurs.
So here, my problem is I like basketball enough, but I actually kind of fucking hate it too. I think it's the worst sport out there.
No.
Yeah. I rather watch I don't know.
But this isn't for me. I'm not saying that like that's a specific example. If it's my team and in an important game, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Yes, that was my only point.
Right now,
wasn't necessarily that it was basketball.
I have nobody in the race, so football took precedence last night.
Yeah. So other great example. I don't like either of the teams playing basketball last night, but I play fantasy football, so I only had the Chiefs game on.
If I have the option, why not?
That's true.
I'm not disagreeing with you to do both, but I was just curious.
I'll probably have 3 or 4 games of football on and Red Zone.
Now that I have a fantasy team, there's more incentive for me to watch the game as well. Because this is my first time ever having a fantasy team.
Well, Derek, you have a fantasy team. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. I finally, of all the years that we've been doing this show, I finally got a fantasy football team. I finally did it. I pulled the trigger.
Did he bribe you?
Somebody asked me nicely, and I said yes.
Oh, that's easy. That's all.
Was it there like an established league and they just needed another person?
They already had an established league, and somebody had a team last year, and then they're not running that team, and now I'm running that team.
Oh, well, so that's why Sean's back in my league now.
Yep, that's true.
So we're in a league together.
I have a pretty decent roster.
Can you pull it up on the share?
I can. Yeah, I can share that.
Yes.
I'll actually share my matchup.
I've held off all criticism, by the way, until now. I've been waiting.
I'm going to also chime in.
I would also like to say a thing or two. Well, hey, good news for you is you don't have a league where you have already multiple wide receivers out week 1, and I do, which is terrible.
That kicker,
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
Mm-mm.
I can see it.
Why don't you just go ahead and read her off to me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the matchup.
I got Deshaun Watson as my quarterback, which he did good last night. Got me 26 points, basically. He has Lamar Jackson. Ooh. I got Juju Smith-Schuster, T.Y. Hilton, Emmanuel Sanders, Christian McCaffrey. I was actually happy about that because I think the Panthers are going to be bad and he's going to get a lot of touches.
He's going to dominate.
Christian McCaffrey is the best player on that team, and he will get a lot of touchdowns. He will get a lot of touches this season.
And he is a well-known best player in fantasy football.
Oh yeah, every year for like the last 3 years.
Now he has checked down Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback. So I can't imagine his catches will go down.
Right. I have Singletary from Buffalo.
See, I said it before the show, and I'll say it again. Skeptical because I think Zach Moss will end up being the guy 2 or 3 weeks in Buffalo. He's just a bigger, better running back. I think if Singletary can't take the job from Frank Gore, then he probably can't keep the job either.
Okay, well, let's wait. You got a bench. We'll see that bench, too. I want to see that bench.
Okay.
Rob, I want the receivers first.
Smith-Schuster, Hilton, Sanders.
Okay. Is this PPR or is it standard? Do you know?
I don't know that. I don't know what that means.
Scroll up.
PPR means point per reception. Could even be a half point per reception, which means that even if they don't get their 10 yards per point for a catch, they'll get a point for the catch.
Yeah. It doesn't, well.
Hard to say. We'll look at your score again next week and we'll circle back on that.
Well, no, because Juju Smith would no, I don't know. They're
okay, you got Gronk as your tight end.
I got Gronk as my tight end.
I like that move, man.
Do you think do you really think there was no one available, or do you think there just might have been some like young tight ends on the board that you weren't necessarily familiar with?
That's probably true.
I went with Gronk over a lot of people.
Yeah, because like Gronk went about the same time as like Noah Fant and Hayden Hurst from the Falcons, and a bunch of other guys that I think will probably get more catches and yards. But where Gronk is interesting is in the red zone. I don't think, very similar to Antonio Gates in the twilight of his career, I don't think he goes away in the red zone. I think he's still a good option. And I think this week especially, because Mike Williams is listed as doubtful as of today, who I have to assume those looks in the red zone will pivot to Gronkowski.
Well, I also made a mistake too. I selected my defense before I selected a tight end. And I read later on that you shouldn't select your defense so early.
You could select your defense in the last round if you wanted to.
Yep, I did not do that, but because I specifically wanted the Pittsburgh defense, so I went out and grabbed it.
I think in the 12th round, so also before the end, I also wanted a defense because I had my mind set on a team, and Pittsburgh was there, but I decided to go with Buffalo instead and here's why. I think your division is tougher, where I think that Buffalo plays against the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots all twice. So that was the only decision breaker for me. It's like I know during those weeks where I'm going on defense.
Oh, I got Coleman from San Francisco. I remembered he was good last year. This is my bench players.
So yeah, Tevin can be, but I think Mostert's taken the starting job. So I think what you want to bank for there is just if Tevin becomes the starter, then he is a starter in fantasy.
Okay.
He won't though.
But he could.
He won't.
I got Ryan Tannehill for a backup quarterback. That was auto drafted. I didn't give a shit. At that point, I gave up. I got Lazard. I didn't even know who that was for a wide receiver. I think that was auto drafted as well.
So the other thing that I would say that's highly beneficial, especially your first year, is always pay attention to the waiver wire every week, especially if you get off to a bad start, because you're going to be like priority on there. And there's always one or two guys, maybe more, that nobody has that ends up being like one of your best players by the end of the season. So like having a bad week 1 or week 2 is fine as long as you're active on that waiver, which I'm active on the waiver every week, no matter where my ranking is. I'm just constantly playing it in all my leagues. Like I should be working and I'm just living on the waiver.
Yeah, let's just say my productivity at work is going to go down because my bathroom time is going to go up.
My backup defense is the New York Jets. I don't know how that happened.
You should not have a backup defense. That is a wasted spot on your team.
I think that was one of the auto drafts.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would go find whoever the best player at any damn position is on the waiver, whoever the highest projected person is, and switch that out for that defense because it's wasting a spot on your team.
Okay.
That's just an opinion. But having 2 defenses is like having 2 kickers. Like all you do the week you need a kicker is go pick one up off the waiver, then cut him the next week. Like they're trash.
If I select defense and I cut it, that will
not. Well, go pick up someone first. Like if you go find someone on the waiver, you can replace it with your defense. Don't just cut it until you know who's taking its spot.
Okay.
Yeah. We could go through that.
How the hell have you helped me with that when I'm not doing that?
Yeah.
This is through Yahoo, and I also don't know how to use it at all.
Oh, I've never done anything off of ESPN, but we're learning together now. We're learning together now.
So I am genuinely excited. As you know, I have been apprehensive in the past about doing fantasy football. Mostly because I don't know what I'm doing, and I hate sucking at everything.
Oh, dude, there is a real thing called beginner's luck in fantasy football. Every time I've ever heard someone say, this is my first year, they dominate. Probably because fantasy football ultimately at the end of the day is luck. There's skill to it, for sure. But players just randomly go off sometimes, and you happen to have that player. And also best players on teams. Like, what if Christian McCaffrey got hurt? Your team would just crumble. But you literally have Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey, who are the 2 best fantasy football players of last season on your team.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, you're playing against.
I think Juju Smith is going to have a huge year. I don't care what people are saying.
I think Juju.
He's not going to.
I think Juju and Deontay Johnson, who I'm super hot on. Deontay Johnson will have a monster year because Ben is back. So, yes, I think both will be good. My problem with Juju is always this. I don't think he's a true number 1, which is what he is on that team. It's also where he's valued in fantasy.
I think he can be.
And maybe you're right. He's only like 24 years old. He could be.
He helped me win a fantasy championship, so I will always be on him.
I think that there's a lot of weapons on the offense right now. I think Ben is probably pretty excited right now to come in and play for this team. Also, we got Josh Dobbs back.
Right. Which is like, unless you're a Steelers fan or me, you don't know who that is. But
right here. I don't know who Josh Dobbs is.
There was a time where Josh Dobbs was going to be the future of the Steelers franchise.
Well, they drafted him in the 3rd round out of Tennessee, and I was really high on him coming out of college.
What is he?
He's a quarterback. He's
yep.
They went the Mason Rudolph route instead of the Dobbs route last year because they didn't want to keep them both. They found out that was a huge mistake.
Well, it's hard. It's hard when Mason's a racist.
He's just not good. Yeah.
And Josh Dobbs, they traded him off. Also, they couldn't have foreseen like Ben going down and then being like, "Well, fuck, we have Mason Rudolph," and then Mason Rudolph going down and being like, "Jesus, who do we have for a 3rd string?" and being like, "Hi, Devlin Hodges."
Yeah, you usually don't need a Mason Rudolph and a Dobbs on the same team because you're doing an injustice to keep them both. Like one of them deserves to be a legit number 2 somewhere. I don't know what that means moving forward for that position, but no, I think the Steelers are going to be back this year. I think Ben's going to look great. It looks like he's eating a lot less cheeseburgers in the offseason, like a lot less. I bet he eats 2 to 3 less a day.
I've seen some photos of him at practice and stuff, though. He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think he cuts himself off at probably 2 cheeseburgers a day now.
Only 2 cheeseburgers a day.
He doesn't eat the 5.
He's definitely not at Andy Reid level.
No one's at Andy Reid's not at Andy Reid level.
He's
man, they got to figure out something. They got to figure out something for Andy Reid and that mask. They got to figure it out.
I loved it.
I like it. Keep it.
Something I didn't realize about him until the mask was that he was a mouth breather.
I know.
That doesn't fog up like that if you're breathing out of your nose.
That big and not be a mouth breather.
I'm this big and I'm not a mouth breather.
You're not as big as he is.
Oh, I am. I am literally I am the same height and weight as Andy Reid. I am not kidding about that. Yes, that's 100% true. Let's Google how fat is Andy Reid.
You don't even ask his size. You just say how fat is he.
I bet it's the number 1 searched.
More people have searched how fat Andy Reid is, yes, than how big Andy Reid is.
What is Andy Reid's weight?
What are the size dynamics of Andy Reid? What are the dimensions?
Google says Andy Reid is 265 pounds, and I'll tell you this: there's no way he's 265.
Maybe right now he does look a little slimmer.
Well, maybe that Super Bowl put him on a diet.
We're the same height, though. I have a red shirt. I'll put it on after the show. I'll show you Andy Reid's body.
I got an idea. On our Halloween show, you can dress up as Andy Reid.
I'll be Andy Reid.
Oh, we have to dress up for a Halloween show.
We will. And
because we totally tabled this from a couple weeks ago, but I'm like a tortoise and I never forget. That's a thing. Is that we also, for a Halloween show, should bring those 3 different fists of alcohol that we talked about. Because I don't think any of us are going to say the other name for the Washington Football Club. I don't think we're ever going to make that mistake. We're too PC, bro.
By the way, Jake Matthews did ask me the other day when they get to vote on the alcohols. To this show, and he wanted to know. So,
true story. I'm sitting at my computer. Like, that's why I just brought it up. I'm sitting at my computer a couple days ago. Like, I should probably finally make this poll. And as I started to make it, I'm like, just started hitting backspace, like panicking. Like, I'm just getting the mouth sweats. Like, I don't want to do this. Maybe everyone will forget.
So, I did forget.
I was hoping everyone did.
What was the deal?
So if we ever said Washington Redskins instead of Washington Football Team,
we take a shot.
We had 3 different
really bad drinks.
And so we were all going to go buy whatever bottle got voted on. And if anyone said it, I believe the deal was we all had to take a shot.
On accident. You can't do it on purpose. And if you do
you can tell when someone's doing it on purpose.
Oh, yeah. And if you do it on purpose, you have to butt chug it.
By the way, I do love... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Sean, I've never told you this, but I've always known when you're faking it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyways,
I just didn't want to hurt you. I'm going to have to ask you about this.
What did you say, Sean?
On my pickup.
Your pickup?
On my pickup app, I saw not kidding. I did my picks a while ago, by the way. And I saw the W for Washington, and it just said Washington. And I'm not kidding, for a split second. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Me too.
I'm like, who the...
I instantly knew who it was, but I also thought it looked very like B grade. It looked very like we just went and like Googled a free logo and then pasted it on there. Like it looked like it was made in word art, is what I'm trying to say.
It's weird. And then I saw on another thing, it showed. So on one, not on the Pick'em app, but it was on another thing, and it was like Steelers at Giants, so it went with the mascots. Yeah. So the one for the Redskins, the ex-Redskins, take a shot. It said, it was funny though. It said Eagles at football team, and it made me laugh out loud. Like it's awesome. It's an Eagles at football team, and I was like, huh. At the bank.
So, did you make the poll? You didn't, did you? You didn't.
No, I thought everyone forgot, and I was just hoping people did, because I was like,
no, we got to do it, and we got to do it.
But
we got to do it now.
Now that Derek has accidentally already blundered, I do want to do it, because now I know it's a real possibility. For me, what I was afraid of is buying a fifth of Admiral Nilsson that was just going to sit next to my computer for the foreseeable future. But
I'll be so pissed if that gets voted in.
If the Washington Football Organization does actually end up having a good season, we will be talking about them more.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we also have to do a pick'em every single week. They play 16 games. The chances of one of the three of us screwing up is actually more highly likely than we originally anticipated, which is why now I'm upset that we don't have one. So, Derek, I am keeping track of what you just did. I am starting the tally tonight, even though we don't have the booze. And next week's show, you have to start the show by taking that shot, buddy.
Woo!
All right.
And guess what? We're in it with you.
My choice. I can't remember what my choice was. I know it was the Kettle One knockoff.
There was the Kettle One Smirnoff, the Smirnoff mint cucumber, the Knob was it Knob Creek or whatever? What was it?
Hobble Creek.
Hobble Creek, and Admiral Nelson's, which I really don't want to win either.
Honestly, I also don't want to win.
Get voted in, dude. I'm coming for you,
honestly, dude. If Hobble Creek wins, we're all coming for you. The whole internet.
The whole internet.
Because I'm going to say some, if I drink that, I'm going to say some messed up shit.
Guess what? You're going to be hobbling the whole way to come in.
I honestly can't decide between those three which one I would rather have the least.
Honestly, yours sounds the best.
Yeah.
It's probably the best of those three.
And here's the deal.
But it's not Kettle One.
Here's the deal, brothers. I don't want to see no chasing. I don't want to see no side drinks.
You can chase with the beer, right?
No, well, eventually. But I expect a good solid. I expect a good solid 3 minutes of you just marinated, bud. You got to let that marinate in your. You know what I mean? I don't want to see.
I'm going to take the shot. I'm not going to swish it in my mouth.
No. But you're also not gonna drink a beer in the next 3 minutes either.
What?
That'll be hard for me.
That's not part of the rules.
I want you guys to learn that saying that word is wrong.
Okay, well, you better put the poll out there.
I'll make the poll. Also, I didn't want on my Facebook that I have like coworkers on to be like, "Hey guys, which hard alcohol should?" we take shots of, and then be like, Hobble Creek, Admiral.
I'm pretty sure that Jake Matthews asked me when he could do the poll to vote for Hobble Creek.
Yeah, because he said he had it.
He doesn't give a shit. He wants to do Hobble Creek.
What's funny is I would assume that outside of him, Michael Wagner, and Jesse Knight, I don't think anyone else even votes on it. So,
well,
we'd have to call my mom for the tiebreaker.
I'm gonna advertise the shit out of that once it gets put up.
Yeah, that's true. And if I do it also, we'll get a lot of votes. But
is Michael Wagner in the pick'em this year?
Yeah, he was the one who shared it with Jesse.
Okay, so he's still around. We haven't heard from Wagner lately because we just moved to Fridays. That's why.
Yeah, I think he'll be officially back, baby. But speaking of that, it's pick'em time. We're at the hour mark. Mm-hmm. We've talked about it a couple times. We've tickled it.
The shaft or the ball.
Now let's go all in.
Pick either.
I don't care what you do.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it says rough.
So are we gonna go? Are we gonna go? Just one person goes down. Or are we gonna go game to game?
We go game to game, and we all do them.
Yeah.
And in the middle of this, we will also give our 2 soon Super Bowl picks, and I will give both my worst to first and first to worst. I'm just doing it in the middle of it. Because there's no rules this year because of COVID.
Yep, that's true.
Because of COVID, there's no rules.
Hear this song.
Not enough to where I can rock out to it.
I found a song. It's got organ music in it. This is our new pick'em music for today. So are you going first then?
Yeah, we'll go counterclockwise. Wait.
Am I on the top left on everyone's screen?
I will go. How about I go first? Because Zach, you have more to offer. Because you got your first to worst.
Oh yeah, that's my team. That's first.
Yeah. You got first to worst and worst to first. I'll go first. I only have my pick'em. Oh, but okay. I'll say my Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I want to know.
Okay.
But you also have to do the team on the other side. You have to do both teams in the Super Bowl, not just the winner.
I will do. Yeah. Okay, so first off, Houston Texans at Kansas City Chiefs. That was last night. The reason why I'm even bringing this up, we know who won this. I did pick the Chiefs in this, and the Chiefs are my AFC champion. That's why I'm picking to go to the Super Bowl. Again, to repeat. I don't know if I'm not going to say whether or not they win yet because I haven't said my NFC team yet. So, sorry, I'm not going to say it. That's the way it is. And that's the way it's always been. All right. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Okay.
For the pure just idea of keeping the flavor alive, I'm not gonna say the Chiefs are my AFC pick.
Okay.
You either, Sean?
Well, to go to the Super Bowl
in the AFC. I won't bait you. You can save it. You can.
After watching them last night, like, what do you?
It's hard not to pick them.
Yeah.
Should we just start this pick 'em off by unanimously saying all three of us think the Chiefs are going to win the AFC?
I think so.
I think they're going to win the AFC.
Well, shit, guys. There's not a lot of parity to that.
It's all parity.
I also picked them for my pick 'em.
Okay. All right. So let me go through the rest of my picks. We'll go through the rest of my picks.
I'm working on new looks. This is one of them.
I like it. Okay. Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Boy, this was a tough one for me. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be the second best team in that division this year because I think the San Francisco 49ers will still be better. I think the Seahawks are – I don't think the Rams are going – again, I said this, by the way, I was right last year, and I'm going to be right again this year. I do not think the Rams are going to the playoffs. I said that last year. I was 100% correct. And then I fell off a little bit. And I'm like, well, maybe the Rams go. And then I got back on my own wagon. I ended up being right. They're not going to the playoffs. They're still not going to the playoffs because I think the Cardinals are going to be better than the Rams.
Wow.
I am taking the Seahawks in this game, though, against the Falcons. And I apologize in advance to Mr. Swan.
But it's in Atlanta.
I know.
We have no fans at the game. We're one of the teams that are doing no fans.
This is one of my away teams.
Well, they're also a -2.5, I believe. So they are the favorite.
Yeah.
And Sean, what do you think?
I picked Seahawks, bud.
Any reason why? Just because you think they're a better team?
Just slightly. Just slightly.
So, I mean, I guess I would like to know from either of you guys. Either of you.
I think their defense is a little better than your defense.
I think their defense is a lot better than Falcons' defense.
I think people are going to be surprised about that this year.
The other reason why I took them in this game is because the last couple years, because I love you and you're my baby boy.
Yeah, you've made some mistakes.
I picked the Falcons because I'm like, my baby boy likes the Falcons. I'm gonna pick the Falcons.
You've made some mistakes,
and I have because I've been hurt and I've been hurt before. And here's the other thing: my baby boy tends to do a little better when people pick against him, and because I want you to have a better.
Oh, that's why. Because all of a sudden we believe in luck now.
Okay, so what you're saying,
hey guys.
What you're saying is you think the Falcons are going to win.
No, I think the Seahawks are going to win this game. I think the Seahawks have a way better defense, and I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Seahawks are going to win it. Sorry.
So I think Vegas is stupid sometimes. I talk about this show on the show a lot. Anytime the favorite has less than a 3-point advantage, in this case it's 2.5, I always pick the underdog, whether it's the Falcons or not. But here's some tidbits for you, boys. The Falcons' defense is not as bad as you think. Keanu Neal will be back. Deion Jones will be back. Both of them, their two best defensive players, were out the entire season. Yes, we have a weakness in our secondary because they are young. You know who else has a young secondary? The goddamn Seattle Seahawks. And guess what? They don't have Calvin Ridley. They don't have Julio Jones. They don't have... we don't have Austin Hooper anymore either, but we have other people.
Well,
we have Hayden Hurst now. We have Treadwell now. Also, I think Todd Gurley is going to be better than people expect in small doses. I think Todd Gurley is obviously still good in the red zone, and Hayden Hurst also being there will open up Julio in the red zone, which we haven't seen in a few years. So if you're a Julio Jones guy and you don't like him in fantasy anymore because he only gets you 6 touchdowns a year, I think that changes this year.
On that note,
I think the Falcons win, and I think it's by much more than what the spread is. I think they win probably by about 10 plus points.
Good. It's a good one.
Okay.
The New York Jets are going to Buffalo, New York this weekend, and I think the Bills are going to do whatever they want.
Oh, it's going to be Bills.
I think the Bills are going to win. I think they're going to clearly win. I think it's going to be disgusting. I think that defense is going to tear apart the Jets. I still like Sam Darnold. I think if he was on a good team, he'd have a chance. I think the Jets will actually have a pretty decent little season this year. I actually do think that. I don't think it's going to be against the Bills, though. I think the Bills are going to go off. It's going to be ucky. Bills.
I picked the Bills, so.
Yeah, this is an easy one, boys. I mean, I do think Le'Veon will have a better year than last year. Circle back to fantasy. I think he was dog shit last year, and I think this year that gave him a lot of value late. I don't think he's as explosive as he was in Pittsburgh. Maybe that was never really his thing in Pittsburgh. Maybe it was just the fact he was so patient and had such a good line, and it was also such a great receiver that it kind of all worked out. But I do think he is going to be a huge safety blanket for Sam Darnold this season. My concern for the Jets is that what other weapons does Sam Darnold have?
Right.
Isn't Crowder like their number one receiver?
When are they going to start putting other people around him? I just don't understand what's going to start. I know they got like Perryman, who was like the third or fourth best receiver from the Bucs last season. Their defense is going to be good, though. The Jets have a sneaky, damn good defense. So to say that the Bills are going to do whatever they want, probably. They're a much better coached team. But if Josh Allen shits the bed on Sunday, then the Jets can win this game.
Sure.
And Josh Allen is not a lock to not shit the bed. So I'll say that, but I'm not also an idiot. I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to play it safe.
I'm not. What year is Josh Allen in?
Same year as Sam Darnold. I believe this is both of their third years.
Third year.
That's what I thought. Okay.
All right. The Chicago Bears are going to Detroit to play the Lions. I gotta sneeze.
You did it though. That was impressive.
I've been working on that. Okay, the Bears are going to Detroit to play the Lions. This might be one of my. It's not a hot take. It's a warm take. This is a warm take. I think the Lions win that conference this year. I am not sold on the Bears. I still don't think Nick Foles is the answer. I know Trubisky isn't the answer. I'm not sold on the Bears. I don't know about the Packers. I just don't know if that's the team. And then
they went 12-4 last year.
Yeah, they did. Despite everything. Here's the thing though. The Lions have a healthy Matt Stafford. They have, so we think. Healthy Matt Stafford. I think they just picked up Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, but it's between Kerryon Johnson and Swift on who's getting those carries. But they picked up Peterson because Swift, the rookie, was originally supposed to be doubtful for week 1, but I think he's fully geared up and ready to go now.
But then Kerryon Johnson's injury prone as well.
Yeah, but when he's on the field, man, dude, the whole team's injury prone. That is why this team is so scary.
That's why I'm going to say is why you can't really bet on a team like that.
Okay.
I'm
going to let you guys finish your picks, but
I am still picking the Lions to win that conference. I am also picking them to win this game at home.
You mean that division?
That's right, yeah. Sorry, division. Why I said conference.
It's all good. Because boom. That's how you sneak in your NFC pick for the Super Bowl.
That is not my NFC pick.
I guess to backtrack, I agree with you on the Seahawks thing earlier, Derek.
Okay.
I do think the Bills are either going to be first or second in that division. And then I picked the Bears to beat the Lions. And I think they're both going to be last or second to last. I don't think they're going to beat Green Bay or Minnesota in the division. But yeah, I did pick the Bears to beat the Lions.
You picked the Bears? I think that this is a huge year for Trubisky. I think Chicago is going to have a top 5 defense in the league this year.
They still got Khalil Mack.
And they do have. There's no more undervalued wide receiver I've ever seen in football than Allen goddamn Robinson. The dude,
I have him in fantasy, so
it's because he drops, man. It's easy to get him late because he's a top 3 round talent that somehow drops to the 5th or 6th every year because no one wants to take a Bears wide receiver. Fantasy aside, though, as much credit as I'm going to give to the coaching and defense of the Bears, I also want to give credit to the coaching and the defense of the Detroit Lions. But circling back to the injury prone, Galladay's injury prone, Marvin Jones is injury prone, Kerryon Johnson's injury prone. But at least 2 of the 3 of those guys are playing this Sunday, and I think Stafford's going to have the best season of his career.
But he's also injury prone.
True. But I think it's a perfect storm this year, baby. You can't bank on injuries, just like you can't bank on injuries not happening, I guess.
Yeah.
But I agree with Derek so much that the Lions are my worst 2 first team in the NFL. And we forget there is an extra team on each conference that gets into the playoffs this year. So the Packers can still have a good year. The Vikings can still have a good year. And the Lions can still win the division and they can all make it in. They won't. They won't.
Wow.
Because the NFC South exists. But 2 of the 3 of those teams will make the playoffs. I'm not going to say which one doesn't. I'm saving it. We'll circle back to it.
Okay, so you said from worst to first, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and I know that means I'm probably alluding that the Green Bay Packers are my first to worst, but I'm not, and we'll circle back to it.
Okay, but is that just from like performance from last year, right? Is that what you're
they were 3-13 last year. They were the worst in their division. Now they're going to be the top in their division. First place in their division, not the conference. Worst in their division. We used to do this for both sides, the AFC and the NFC, but I don't think that happens on both sides every year. That's too much. That's too much pressure to put on me to make me do both sides.
That's true. It's a lot of brain thinking.
I just don't have the stamina.
Yes, you do.
Next, we got the Cleveland Browns going to Baltimore to face the Ravens. I don't care how good the Browns could possibly be this year. I am not ever going to go against the Ravens at home unless they're playing a team like the Steelers, because I'm not going against my team anymore. So I am going to take the Ravens at home against the Browns.
So you know me. You know who I am.
Well, and the Browns beat the Ravens last year.
They did.
I just heard the way you were talking, and I switched my pick. I switched it to the Browns. I had the Ravens. I'm switching it to the Browns.
Because you're not going to go against your team. I went against. Here's the thing. Zach remembers this, and so do you, because you've always been on the show. I went against the Steelers 2 times a couple seasons ago, and they won both of those games.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm not doing it anymore. Taking my team every time. I will take my team every time.
I won't, but I do think the Browns always put up a good fight against all the division teams.
Yeah.
But that's just division games, I guess. So what do you do? Listen, the Browns are a top 6 secondary, maybe a top 5 or 6 overall defensive team. I think Jarvis Landry had a great year last year. I think Chubb and Hunt is a nasty 2-headed monster. And maybe it's just that I'm a Falcons fan, but I think Austin Hooper was one of the biggest offensive offseason pickups in the league. The problem is their quarterback is Baker fucking Mayfield. That's the only problem on the whole team. Outstanding defense, stacked offense. They could use a better offensive line, sure, because they have a midget quarterback. But even if he's like 6 foot. And that's fine if you're Russell Wilson. But he's not Russell Wilson.
He can scramble like Russell, but he can't throw and scramble.
Russell Wilson turns extremely bad situations into pretty damn good ones. Deshaun Watson does that sometimes too, but Deshaun Watson gets himself into trouble doing it sometimes also. Yeah. I do think Baker Mayfield's season will be better than last season's. Better coach, different situation. It's just so tough in this division, man.
Yeah.
Ravens. Like Steelers. Some people even think the Bengals are going to be better. But I think the team's stacked everywhere except for offensive line. So, but that's the people that protect Baker. And
that's
people.
Yeah. For him to be good, he needs the time.
Yeah, because he's a timing quarterback. And they're going to be coming for him, and it's week 1. I think the Ravens are just going to be super prepared. But, I mean, we said this last year, and the Browns won the game. So, if there was a where we were wrong pick for me and Derek, it could be this game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with the Ravens once again because I'm just going to play the odds. Similar to the Bills pick.
Packers and Vikings in Minnesota. This was my tough call of the week. I went with the Vikings because they're at home. You know me, creature of habit. I went with the Vikings at home. Seems like the safer bet.
I went with Packers. I don't know why.
Aaron Rodgers.
I just do. I just like. I mean, and I like. I guess I don't know who I like on that team anymore. There's no one on that team that Devontae Adams, I guess. Who else? Who's their second receiver? Someone
That
I don't know.
depends. You don't like Aaron Jones?
Oh, I like Aaron Jones. I have him in a fantasy league. And yeah, I do like him a lot. So, but there's that's 3 players.
I don't think it matters. I think they're a good, like the Vikings. They're a great defensive team, which came out of nowhere. Especially for the Packers, that's always been one of their problems outside of never having any weapons for Aaron Rodgers. But I think they're so well coached, and Aaron Rodgers is so good at not turning over the football. They're going to be in every game this year. So it's very possible they go 12-4 again. I also have the Packers winning the game. Vikings have one less weapon. Yes, they still have Dalvin Cook, but they have one less weapon on offense with Diggs being gone.
Yeah.
Rudolph is just another year older at tight end. That dude's only going to save their asses so many times.
Yeah.
I'm not super hot on the Vikings this year. I don't think the Vikings make the playoffs. I don't have them in like a bottom of the division type of situation just yet. Probably the Bears, but I just don't think they're going to be very good this year.
Yeah.
And similar to Baker and a few others, I just don't have faith in Kirk Cousins. I think it's totally situational for that dude.
The stars have to align for sure.
Fair.
Aaron Rodgers, as long as he's healthy, he's going to do whatever it takes to get the Packers to win games. Even if he's forced to hand the ball off with their coaching staff now, 30, 40 times a game. At the end of the game, they're still going to let Aaron Rodgers win it for him, and he's one of the most capable guys in the world of doing it. So
that's fair. Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Colts win. I think the Jaguars are going to suck, and I think it's on purpose. I think they're going to they're throwing away. They're going to take their season. I don't. They really don't care. They're going with Gardner Minshew. They don't care. They're just trading away people. They don't care. I'm not ever going to be as brash to ever choose a team to go winless in a season ever again, because I was burned by that pretty badly. That said, I think they win 2 games. 2 games this year. And it's not going to be against the Colts. And I'm also excited to see what Uncle Phil does.
Agreed. I did pick the Colts. I love Gardner Minshew, though.
Yeah.
Just on that note. And who have they all traded away? I mean, Leonard Fournette ain't shit.
Dude, they have traded away whoever their best defensive player is 4 years in a row.
That's true.
It's not like it was just Jalen Ramsey. It's a cornerback every year or a defensive end every year. It's someone every year. But
Chark, dude. Chark is pretty.
Yeah, Chark's great, but Gardner Minshew is okay.
I think to say 2 wins is pretty mean. Give them 3.
2 to 3 wins.
Okay, 2 to 3 wins.
I don't think it's a super tough division. I think they could win more than 3 games, but I do think it's probably 2 or 3 games. I think Derek's right. They're probably bottom of the league this year. I don't think we're going to be eating our words by the end of the season and saying, "Oh, they really surprised us."
So, are you going to say worst team in the league this year?
Well, we don't do a thing for worst team in the league. We do a first to worst, where
and they weren't first.
And they weren't first. I don't have a worst to worst.
Because they were already the worst. You're right.
Because they were already the worst. And I actually, in previous years, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I think I made the mistake of having the Jaguars as my...
It was probably the year before.
The year before was the year after their playoff run, and I had them from first to worst, and that was accurate, actually. Oh. So I knew they came at some point. I think the Colts are going to be good, man. Their defense underachieved last year. Super good young linebacking core, great defensive line. I mean, they have all 3 levels of defense. We said it last year, and it wasn't really up to par. But I really believe that again this year. I think they have a great line for old man Uncle Phil. They have a few running backs. I like Jonathan Taylor so much I drafted him in multiple fantasy leagues. Jonathan Taylor with Marlon Mack as his backup is a great duo. And if Marlon Mack stays healthy, he might just be the starter there. I think T.Y. Hilton's older. I don't know what other options they have at receiver, but they seemed fine last year.
I hope T.Y. Hilton's good.
I'm taking the Colts. We can move on from this one.
Yeah, sorry.
Vegas Raiders at the Carolina Panthers. I hope Christian McCaffrey goes off, but I think the Raiders could be a good team this year. I'm interested to see how the move goes for them. I'm going to take the Raiders in this first game. Pulling the trigger on it.
I agree. I picked Raiders. I think Panthers will be the worst in that division.
Yeah,
I don't, but we'll get there.
I don't either. I have a pick for the worst in that division.
Yeah.
I think the Buccaneers are still going to really suck.
That's insane. I can't. I'm literally shitting my pants. You guys thinking that?
Well, I didn't say. I'll get to mine. I'll get.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Don't ruin my big announcement.
I don't think when teams have typically gone out and became really good Super Bowl caliber teams, I don't care what the name behind this is, but typically teams don't go out and pick a 41-year-old quarterback to be the answer.
Hey, we still have that game to talk about, boys. We'll get there.
For
this game.
I think it's going to be heated, though.
For this game, I think people are seriously sleeping on the goddamn Carolina Panthers. Not for the season, but this is week 1. We don't know what's going to happen. True. The Panthers always play great D. Always play great D. Teddy Bridgewater protects the football. They have DJ Moore. They have Samuels. And they have the best running back in the league. And the Raiders have what? Do they have a good defense? No. Do they have Josh Jacobs? Yes. But what else do they have?
When I did this originally, I actually read this wrong. I had the Panthers picked for this game, but I just changed it to match my pick on the show.
Good. I'm not alone.
I did originally pick the Panthers to win this game when I did this weeks ago. Because Christian McCaffrey.
That being said, after saying all the things that I just said, I'm also with you guys that I'm taking the Raiders.
Quick, can I side note on you guys? The Boston-Toronto game, 89-87, Kyle Lowry just fouled out.
How many minutes left?
30 seconds, 40 seconds.
And it's not even in the 90s yet?
It's, 89-87.
Is that a playoff game from 2008?
Yeah, boy. Anyways, let's go. Come on.
Okay, I'm also taking the Raiders.
The Miami Dolphins are taking a trip this week to New England to play the Patriots, Foxborough. They're going to Boston. And I don't care who the quarterback of the Patriots is. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care about any of that. We've learned, we've seen the pattern. The kryptonite for the Patriots is the Miami Dolphins. And I'm taking Miami on the road. Because if they're going to win a game, it's going to be against goddamn New England at home in New England. It'll be weird, but they'll win. They'll get some Fitz magic, and he'll win the game. That said,
starting?
Oh, he's starting
Over Tua?
He's starting over Tua.
Yeah. You don't start a rookie quarterback week 1, bro. No team ever does that.
Well, there has been. Let me think.
Well, Cincinnati's starting a rookie.
Josh Rosen did.
Yeah, Cincinnati's doing it right now because they have no other option.
Josh Rosen did.
Oh, so good quarterbacks start right off the bat.
They thought he was going to be good. It doesn't matter.
He should have been good on a better team. But anyway, but I am taking Miami on the road. That's actually my. I don't think it should be, but it's my upset. That's my big upset for the week.
Oh.
Okay. I picked Patriots.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe in Cam Newton.
There are so do I, But there are teams that the Patriots that have the Patriots number, and that team for whatever reason,
or maybe they had Tom Brady's number and he was the bad juju and now he's gone.
That's fine.
You think about that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
He probably thought about it.
Maybe.
But then I also forgot that 7 defensive players of the Patriots opted out. So because they are actually, here we go. They're tanking to get Trevor Lawrence. No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
Fuck yeah. There's no way they're not. Go look at the opt-out list. They have like 10. Every other team has like 3 or 4.
Well, that being said, they're still the Patriots, and they're still coached by Bill Belichick. And I'm going to take the Patriots. I did make a blunder when I gave all that hype to Carolina and then made my pick to the Raiders. I actually really do have Carolina.
I had Carolina too, but I switched it to match my
your spiel. I have Carolina.
I was very confused on why you said all that, and then you're like, but I have the Raiders.
Well, because I didn't want to change my check mark. I know that would have been all the effort of clicking it.
I know. I did it for the Browns.
And you shouldn't do that, though. You should never change the check mark.
Well, so once I say it on the show, it's gospel, motherfucker.
Yeah,
once I say it on the show, there's no going back unless Saturday I feel like going back, and then I change it, and then I act like I never did.
Yep. And that's how it always
and I've never done that before, and I never will. The Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington football team. I wanted to say it because I knew both of you guys weren't going to do it right, and I didn't want to have to take multiple shots to start off next week's show.
I took the Eagles on the road.
I
don't have any analysis for that. Anything else to that?
We've talked about this last week. Why am I echoing now?
I don't know.
I can't make that until I start echoing.
Hello.
Are you echoing?
I am.
Oh wait.
Is it you?
Is it me?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm echoing.
I didn't.
You sound great.
So it's me?
I don't hear you echoing at all.
Well, I'm echoing.
Yeah, I hear Sean echoing.
But you're echoing. Well.
Yes, we're both echoing.
All right. Here.
What about now?
Yep, good.
There we go.
We're good now, baby.
I don't know what happened. We still hear the music?
Yep, it's great. So we've talked about this a few times last year where I said, I'm not going to pick this team until they show me something, right? Like there's just certain teams that are absolute dumpster fires and you can't trust them until they win a game or two. I'm not going to pick the Washington Football Club week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are what seem to be finally healthy on the opening game of the season. Now, we could all be wrong. This could totally be a game that Washington wins because we don't know anything about this team yet. We don't even know how to say their name right because I think I say Washington Football Club or organization every time. Let's move on. It's the Eagles.
We could just call them Washington.
That's fine.
Chargers are going to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. This is the game of the week that I don't care about at all.
I care so much.
I'm excited.
I am taking the Chargers over the Bengals because I want the Bengals to lose just every game.
Okay.
Based on just my bias alone.
That's just
I would like Joe Burrow to be decent though. I hope he does. I hope he has a good game. But I also want Tyrod Taylor to be awesome. So
yeah, I picked Chargers. I wish Herbert was starting because I think it would be cool to watch those two quarterbacks from. I just think it would be fun.
Yeah. I agree.
But I do think the Chargers just have probably just a little more going on.
Yeah.
But
it's hard. So like I say that now I'm thinking, okay, Cincinnati has AJ Green, Boyd, Mixon, and then I'm like Chargers have Eckler, Keenan. So
and the Bengals don't have a bad defense. They actually have a pretty good defense. They just happen to be in a division that has 3 top 6 defenses. So they kind of get overshadowed. I think this game was closer talent-wise than people think. But as good as the Bengals defense is, the Chargers defense is better. As good as the Bengals offense is, as far as those people you just named, and nobody else, the Chargers offense is better. Tyrod Taylor doesn't turn the ball over. That is what he is known for. And the other team has a rookie quarterback, and that's my only basis for this, is one guy's going to protect the football, and the other guy's going to be gunslinging, probably. We don't know NFL Joe Burrow yet, but I imagine he's going to be under a lot of pressure, specifically from the Bosa boy. I'm going Chargers.
All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. I think the Buccaneers are going to suck it up this season. I think the Saints are going to win at home. Doesn't matter. I don't think the Saints are going to the Super Bowl. They are not my NFC pick because I think they're choke artists. I don't think Drew Brees will ever go to another Super Bowl in his career. Saying it now. That said, Saints are going to win this game. It's going to be ugly.
I think you're high. I did pick the Saints to win, but I think to say the Bucks aren't going to be good is crazy. I think it's the same. I think there's just too much talent. And then
old talent.
Bruce Arians is a great coach.
He's a great coach, yeah.
And this is the best quarterback he's ever had.
Disagree.
You think Carson Palmer is better?
I love Carson Palmer.
But he's not better than Tom Brady.
I mean, he wasn't on the. I mean, there's no way of knowing if Carson Palmer is under Belichick for all those years. Does Carson Palmer get a bunch of Super Bowls? It's the system.
It's true.
The problem with the argument either way is if it was Brady or the system, is that we will never know because it was that way for 20 years.
Right.
So we're never going to know if it was or if it wasn't.
Right.
I also have the Saints winning this game. I have a bad feeling about the Saints this year, though. I have a bad feeling about Drew Brees' health.
Uh-oh. Is this it? This is it.
This is it.
I don't necessarily like Kamara moving forward. More than any of those things, though, I think Carolina goes about 8-8. I think the Falcons and the Bucks both make the playoffs easily. And I think the Saints only win 6 or 7 games. So I have them as my first to worst for the year. I do have them winning this game. I think they're going to start off the year fresh. I think Drew Brees is going to be fresh, healed, whatever old people need to do. But I do not see that lasting throughout the year. I think also it's going to take a little bit for Gronk to get into the swing of things. I think Buccaneers have to figure out who their running back is. And I know Mike Evans is out for the game. So I'm only giving the Saints this game because it is week 1. The second time these two teams play this year, I will not be taking them again.
All right.
But I disagree with Derek because I think the Bucs will be good. I think they'll be so good that they will probably win the division. And my baby boy Falcons will get one of those extra wild card spots.
What I think is there's a little bit of previous game bitterness coming out of Derek about Tom Brady. That's what
if anyone would have previous game bitterness.
I think it's some Steeler Patriot bitterness. Because you want to know why? Because I'm friends with a Patriots fan, and he hates the Steelers. So I know that there's this thing here.
I think the Buccaneers are a systematic, shitty team. And I don't think there's any hope for that franchise.
See, the thing
they chose a digital VCR numbers on their jersey. They suck. The state sucks. The city sucks.
I agree.
That team sucks.
I agree with everything you're saying about everything but the team sucking. The digital, the VHS digital.
It's ugly.
I don't know
who made that call, but it was bad.
Can I also say that said, if Tom Brady goes on and has an amazing season in Tampa Bay, I'm not going to be mad. I don't hate the guy. I think it'd be interesting to see it. I just don't think it'll happen.
I mean, this is crazy. It's the only time in NFL history 2 40-year-old quarterbacks have played against each other in a game. And, I mean, this could be the first time we ever see 2 quarterbacks get wheelchaired off the field.
In the same
wheelchaired onto the field even.
And they'll just get taken to their homes. Like a home. Not their home,
their
but like a home.
They both own homes in Florida because they should be retired.
I really can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah.
Me too. And I want to hear you. I want to go last on this one.
The Arizona Cardinals are going to San Francisco, and the 49ers are going to do whatever they want. Let me in. And ding, ding, ding. I've never done this before. I've never called this before. This is my NFC Championship pick, the San Francisco 49ers. I think we are going to see a repeat of the Super Bowl. I'm not going to pick my winner. I'm not going to tell you my winner. But I think there's a good chance for this year we see the 49ers and the Chiefs again in the Super Bowl. I still think the 49ers are the strongest in that division. I think the Seahawks are going to give them a rough running for the money. Not because I think the Seahawks are such a great team. I just think they're always competitive, and they're always going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rams are going to suck. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think the Cardinals could surprise us this year. They could. We could see some surprises out of Arizona. I still don't think it's it. I think the 49ers are going to go to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And I think if the 49ers, I'll give you my pick this way. If the 49ers are allowed to wear those pure white, beautiful jerseys, they'll win the Super Bowl. That's their color rush, right? It's just those pure white jerseys.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that look. Crisp.
Complained about the black and red ones, even though they were sick as fuck.
I like those white ones.
I like all of the Niners uniforms.
They're good. Yeah, they have good uniforms. Anyway, that's my pick. Oh, and yeah, I think the 49ers are going to dismantle the Cardinals.
Is that the game we're picking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the 49ers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. They went and got Murray, like another receiver. Like, that's fine. I think that Kenyon Drake was a one-hit wonder last year at running back. I still think they have the 4th best defense in their division. Well, the Rams defense is turning into dog shit, but they have the best defensive player on it. So I'm not going to say they're worse than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are still going to be bad by the end of this season. They're just not going to be a good team. And the 49ers will make it back to the playoffs. I'm not picking them as my Super Bowl pick, but I think they'll flirt with disaster. Go ahead, Sean.
San Francisco. They're going to do whatever they want.
Wow, and you've always said that.
That's always been your catchphrase.
I actually think I was looking back on it, old tapes, and I'm pretty sure you came up with that.
Yeah, that was me. Back in.
I'm pretty sure you did it before me or Derek.
Yeah.
I don't remember it that way.
You got it. You got it for me. So Niners
That's what
win.
you brought to the table.
Division game.
Who did come up with that?
I said it on accident, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
On the radio show.
It just,
But you were the one that came up with the toilet bowl of the week, which you have not used this week at all.
It's because all the game. We're just so excited football's happening.
I know.
Anyways, back to Sean.
Next one might be the toilet bowl.
I think they go back. Derek had said Niners Chiefs Super Bowl again, and like I kind of was like, oh, yeah, that feels right. I can get on board. I want to be on board. We'll see in a couple weeks.
I think it'd be cool to see it repeat of both teams. Has it happened? Well, other than like the Middle Ages, has it happened?
I mean, no, it's like every other year, right? Like Patriots, someone else, Patriots, someone else, Patriots, someone else.
And then the NFC is just so hard to pick somebody other than the Niners because it's like, who's next up?
Right.
Yeah. Is that hard for you to say though, as a Falcons fan?
That we're not next up? I mean, I think we're a top 4 team in the NFC.
I mean, notice I didn't pick the Steelers for my AFC team.
But then, I mean, the Falcons beat the Niners.
Well, yeah, I mean, we took it to them. But
you won by a field goal. Don't get caught.
Well, we took it to them. I mean, it was quarter to quarter,
and you didn't.
Pillar to pillar, just pure domination.
Anyway,
oh, I love this. But this is I'm so glad Sean's always been on this show. I'm so glad we have 3 people.
I'm glad nothing's changed ever.
Well, I've always been a good old 3-way over a 2-way.
Dallas Cowboys are going to Los Angeles to play the Rams. I think the Cowboys win. The Cowboys are going to win their division. I don't think the Eagles have it. I think the Eagles will be. It's between the Eagles and the Cowboys. It's not Washington. It's definitely not the Giants.
Wow, not hot on the Giants.
No.
I think they're going to be one of those sneaky contenders.
That said, I'm still not hot on the Cowboys. It just could be because I hate the Cowboys.
Right.
I hate the team, and I'll always hate the team. So it's hard for me to pick them to be a Super Bowl winner. I did choose them to win the game though.
Yeah, I picked Cowboys. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
But yeah.
Listen, I'm a huge Cooper Kupp guy.
Who's the Rams running back?
Akers. He's a rookie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever then.
He's supposed to be a stud muffin, man. But once again, they got to go out there and prove me wrong. I'm not as down on the Rams as necessarily Derek is, but I'm right on that fence. Like I'm ready to either like completely put them in the trash or just say, well, they'll be okay. Like the possibility of them being a great team to me is slim to none.
By the way, I watched Hard Knocks. The coach of the Rams, what's his name?
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. I don't like him.
I watched.
He's a chode.
I watched the first 2 episodes after you guys were talking about it, and I kind of thought about like you saying you didn't like him, and he's kind of a douche.
He sucks. He just sucks. Like he's out there like running with his players. He's like, man, I'm just so glad to be out here with you guys. Like, God, go back to GNC, you piece of shit. He sucks. I don't like him.
To say if he tried to sell me some pre-workout mix in that attitude, I'd buy the whole store.
Oh, man.
I'd probably buy it.
That's how he was. I'm not even like that far off my impersonation. He's like, oh, fuck, man. I'm just so glad to be out here with you guys. I was like, oh, give me Andy Reid any day eating his cheeseburgers on the sideline.
It's not really.
Like a walrus. I love Andy Reid.
I think this game will be close. I think for the season, I think that the Cowboys have a lot more upside. They have a lot of weapons. They have a ton of weapons.
Fuck them.
I think in previous years, the Cowboys have had a much better offensive line to the point it was their strength, where it's maybe not anymore, but everything else is their strength. The Cowboys have talent at like every other position on the field. Like, how are they a 9-7 team or an 8-8 team? I don't understand.
Great coach. No.
I wanted to make them my NFC pick to go to the Super Bowl, just based off of pure talent, but I am not gonna do it because at the end of the day, they're the Cowboys, and they'll find a way to just be extremely 10-6 at the best. They'll win this game, though. But it's going to be a close game. Like, neither team is going to blow you away. But Cowboys have more upside than any team in the NFC. More than the Niners, more than the Falcons, more than anyone else. They're the most talented team.
I forgot that they have McCarthy, who went and lived in a barn and, like, did yoga for months to get ready.
That's how he learned the game. That's how he relearned the game.
I thought he did yoga moves.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go play the New York Football Giants in New York. It's going to be a close game. The Steelers don't blow anybody out. They also play down when the talent's we've seen it. We've seen it before. They should be a really good team. They'll lose to a bad Raiders. They'll lose to a bad whatever, or they'll be close. I picked them to win the game by a touchdown, 21-14. Steelers in New York.
I chose Steelers. Yeah, I mean, I want to like the Giants. I mean, I love Saquon. I thought the receivers looked like they could possibly be good, last year. But.
Yeah, they all got kind of banged up throughout the year, though. Like periodically, it was like one was down, then the next was down, and
it's hard. It's hard when yeah.
This will be a nice test for the Steelers with Saquon. I mean, for that defense, I think that's ultimately what wins it for Pittsburgh, though. I think Ben's gonna look good. I do think he's gonna look good. I think he's gonna have a good game. He has a lot of weapons right now. We still don't have like a stud star running back though. I like James Conner. I like him. I don't know. I really wish we would have picked somebody else up.
Too prone. He's too prone.
I don't think you have to have a star stud running back to do it. The two teams in the Super Bowl last year did it by committee. Yes, Mostert ended up being a stud, but like him and Tevin and periodically other people carried the football. The Chiefs did it with backups. So I don't think it matters. I think it's a passing league now. Not only that, but they have potentially the best defense in football. I think they're going to bully Daniel Jones. I think they're going to make him beat them. Because you can shut down Saquon if you know that you need to shut down Saquon. And they're going to make Daniel beat him, and I don't think he can. So I think
Minka Fitzpatrick is going to have an interception, if not two. And I think TJ Watt is going to have a day.
Yeah, and then now we have to see how Bud Dupree does now that he's been paid. Because once someone gets paid, some of them disappear and some of them step up, but a lot of them disappear.
Yeah, Hayden might even get an interception. He gets those. Okay. Also, Bush was a lot better last year as a linebacker. I mean, that's a good defense.
I'm excited
about it. I'm excited to finally be watching Steeler defense. As a Steeler fan, that's what I'm excited about. Like, oh, this is the team. This is what I'm excited about. When we had the 3Bs, like that was cool, to have Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, like that was cool, but it was like, it's not the same without that defense. So, harkens back to the days of Troy Polamalu. And for the final Monday night game, the Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos, I think Von Miller's not playing.
He's out the whole season.
Yeah, he's out the whole season.
I think Henry's going to have so many yards.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of yards.
Like a bushel full?
It's going to be real achy. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to win. I don't think they're going to throw it a ton. I think Henry's just going to carry them all the way. I could see him getting 250 yards for the game, if not more. I think the Titans will win the game. I still, pardon my ignorance, I have no idea who the quarterback for the Denver Broncos is.
Drew Lock, baby. Year 2.
That's
Drew
right.
Lock.
That's right. Yep.
It's Drew Lock season, baby.
That's right.
You drafted him, if I remember correctly.
That is because the Denver Broncos are the biggest sleeper in the goddamn NFL.
Okay, well, I picked Titans. Go ahead.
The Denver Broncos are fucking stacked. Let's start, like all great stacks, boys. Let's start at the bottom. They already had Lindsey, who was a great running back, and they go, oh, you know what? Let's go get Melvin Gordon as well. Cortland Sutton looked like a budding, top-notch wide receiver, and then they draft Jerry Jeudy and some other dude in the draft. Like, they go after the best wide receiver and then another guy. Noah Fant, as a rookie, looked outstanding last year at tight end, and Drew Lock, he played the last 6 games, right? And he won 5 of the 6 of them, and he looked outstanding.
Yeah, which I defended Drew Lock on a Facebook battle.
Yeah.
The dude was like I think he had Tyrod Taylor, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
And they're like, who would you pick? And he was all hating. I was like, Drew Lock looked very good for how many games he played. This guy's an idiot. He's an Eagles fan. Fuck him.
I mean, out of the rookies last year, who's to say Drew Lock isn't the best? He's definitely better than Danny Dimes.
I think out of that division,
Could that be in your NFC pick?
Well, I actually forgot to do it, and we're already past it now.
Well,
but
hurry.
I'll circle back. Let me finish this
I
game.
want to know.
So
Okay.
We'll circle back. Actually, I'll just say it. It's the Atlanta Falcons.
You missed that a long time ago.
we weren't gonna. Well, we're not gonna win the division. We're just gonna win the Super Bowl. So don't worry about it.
I still want our Falcons Steelers Super Bowl.
I mean, if there was a year to get it, it'd be this one. But I avoided picking it because every year that I picked it, we've done terrible, and I picked it 3 times now. Well, no, I picked it once, and you picked it once.
Right, that's exactly what happened. Yeah,
And both times, well, they didn't go well.
we were very wrong.
So what I'm now concerned about is I do believe Cortland Sutton is not playing now on Monday. He's either doubtful or questionable, which is scary. 1, because I have him in fantasy. 2, because I think they need him to win this game because it's going to be very close. So my original pick, yes, was the Denver Broncos. But as of like an hour or 2 ago, I think I should switch.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tennessee goes and blows anyone out. And also to say that Derrick Henry is going to have 250 yards. They don't run the ball with Derrick Henry till like the last 6 weeks of the season. Like that dude plays on ice until the end, and then they gear him up for the playoffs.
I know, but I feel like after the playoffs, after people saw it, I feel like it's going to be expected now. Like, dude, this guy's got to run like 1,000.
But the year before, he had like 4 monster weeks to end the season, and they still like slowly got him going again the following year. I don't think Henry's a guy that you just blast off for 16 weeks of the season.
He's a big boy, and he runs heavy. He's not.
Yeah, not only that, but they got some talent at the skill positions now, and I think they're going to go out there and let Tannehill do what he wants to do, and I think it's going to be a mistake, by the way. I think they're going to let him do what he wants to do, and I think it's going to be a mistake.
I want it to not be a mistake because I like Tannehill.
So you know what? Actually, screw it. I'm sticking with the Broncos. Cortland Sutton's going to find a way to play. He's gonna come out of the locker room last minute, and everyone's going to be like, what were you still doing in there? And then they're going to win.
Like a WWE entrance.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was good.
Like Keanu Reeves in The Replacements.
Uh-huh.
Well, that was it.
2
We had
hours
a long show. We had a long show tonight, but that's good. I'm fine with it. Thanks for listening to the show, everybody. Man, enjoy football, enjoy basketball, enjoy it all. I enjoyed it. Everybody have a great weekend. Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.